Okay, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 1 and here we're going to discuss about several applications related to teaching English, which is the first one is Cake, the second one is Duolingo, and the third one is Podcast by Rakhmansyah. Before that, let us introduce ourselves as the group member. Start from my friend, Liam.
Okay, thank you, Dheandra, for the cooperation. So my name is Ilham Abadi and my number is 065 and my other friends are.
Okay, my name is Fikri Rivaldi, number 066.
And my name is Novan Rakhmansyah with number 088.
My name is Nugroho, number 087.
And my name is Dheandra Putri Febrianti, 077.
And my name is Assyifa Putri Ramadhanty with number 076.
Okay, that's all from the group 1 members. Now let's begin the discussion from Kate. So Liam, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Dheandra. So today we're going to have some discussion about the presentation of evaluation education application. Please. So what is Cake? Cake is a language learning application designed to improve user speaking and listening skills, especially for English. It focuses on using real-life conversations from videos like movies, TV shows, and even YouTube clips. Next slide, please. So today we are going to evaluate the application with a proper rubric from Vincent, the rubric of educational application. So there are also 6 terms, and one of the terms is the terms of reference. So it is concluded that it is the application receives 4 points that the application focus has a strong connection to the purpose for the application and appropriate for the student. Next slide, please. And then this is the verification of the application. The application focus offers listening skills compatibility course in the simplest way to learn for beginner English L2 learners. The application process in an interface inserts stage of levels or steps to impute learners' understanding from the medium. As you can see on the sheet, there's step 1, step 2, and step 3, and there's also subtitle to improve students' understanding from the video. And it will be a drilling session for the students to understand and memorize about the video. And the video itself is about the materials of learning in English. Next slide, please. And there is also another exercise about speaking. Even though the focus is listening comprehension, speaking skills also conclude in this application. The application features, including the automatic response system of the microphone, give proper learning outcomes for L2 learners. Next slide, please. And there is another terms. It is about terms of customization. And it's also, the application receives 2 points. And the clarification is application offers limited flexibility to adjust content and settings to meet students' needs. Next slide, please. So the application contents flexibility is considered as flexible of features and contents, including quizzes, speaking stage, listening stage, and review stage, as you can see on the screen. However, the interfaces and contents of the application is limited and could not be customized. It means that the content itself is fixed, and teachers or students could not exchange the content. Next slide, please. And furthermore, at some point or some stages are not accessible due to the payable requirements, which is considered as a big loss. As you can see on the screen, that the application I'm like the learners should buy the application package of learning to open the limitations of the application. This is considered that this application is very limited to use or it is open access. Next slide, please. And we're going to move to the terms of the feedback. So the student is provided limited feedback there. Next slide, please. The application itself has an assessment instrument. Nevertheless, the instrument is in the simplest form of the assessment criterion. As you can see on the screen, it's just only grid, words, and just the time that the student spent and about the material. The assessment doesn't give any proper explanation and just shows the progress of the students, which is limited, very limited in assessing the students itself. Next slide, please. And in the speaking content about the speaking assessment, the speaking assessment has the accreditation of English speaking competence, whether the user pronounced the speaking in the proper way or the opposite. Yet, there is no analysis of this assessment. The users would not notice where the place they are wrong when they are trying to pronounce some words or maybe like some sentence on the material. Next slide, please.
Hello, check.
Yes, you're audible. You can continue.
Oh, yes, okay. Also, the next. Okay, so the next is about the term of thinking skills. So this cake application facilitates the use of mostly lower order thinking skills like understanding and remembering. So why it is mostly lower order thinking skill? Next slide, please. Okay, so as you can see, one of the feature of the application is quizzes. So quizzes bring the lower logical order of thinking, including remembering and understanding. And as you can see, it's just like filling the blank word. So user must listen and recognize the word in order to the previous audio and fill in the empty blank with the corresponding answer. So it's like just memorizing from the audio and then pick the blank word. Next slide, please. Okay, so next it's about the terms of usability. So student can launch and operate the app independently. Next slide, please. So yeah, it is because this application have like very user-friendly interface, so student could easily understand how to use the application without any directive order from the teacher. So without the teacher, they can operate the cake application itself. This application also could be used without any classroom instruction. Next.
Your microphone is muted, so we cannot hear you.
Okay, so in the terms of engagement, student perceive the app as more schoolwork and maybe off the task when directed to use these apps. Next, please. Yeah, as you can see, so although this app has gamification features such as achievement or leaderboard, the interface of the content of the app is too simplified. So as the consequence, learner might be demotivated to use the app because we think that it is too kids-like. So next slide, please. Okay, and next is the term of sharing. So limited performance data or student's product is not accessible. Why? Next slide, please. So the performance store bank of word and learning are saved from the My Word feature. This feature aims to commemorate to the progress of the user. However, to expand the bank, user needs to buy the application package because which is it is limited because we must buy the package from the app. There's also no sharing feature, so students should take screenshot in order to share their progress. Next, please. Okay, now it's about the advantages and disadvantages of the Cake apps. So the advantage is Cake is easy to use. Students are given feedback immediately. And next is Cake offer good listening and speaking courses. And the disadvantages of this application, the feedback of Cake is not proper. I mean, there is no explanation of the feedback. And the app is limited to explore because we must buy some package in order to continue using these apps. And also the user interface is too simplified. Next slide, please. Okay, and this is our overall evaluation. As you can see, the relevance get 4 and etc. And the overall score is 18 out of 28. Next.
Okay, thank you, Fikri, for the explanation, and Liam for explaining Cake application. Now to continue the second application, which is Duolingo. The first section is going to be explained by Novan. So Novan, time and screen is yours.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. The next application is Duolingo. So, what is the Duolingo? Duolingo is an English learning platform that offers a variety of exercise, especially for listening. Duolingo also provides many fun exercises such as matching, translation, and speaking exercises. Although to access the special course need a premium account, Duolingo still provide interesting course for free. Now, why is it relevant? Duolingo's focus on English listening skills has a strong connection and relevancy to its purpose, offering a variety of audio exercises that reflect real-world language use, making it highly relevant and appropriate for students. The apps designed to assist listening exercises align with educational practice, helping learners of different levels to improve their listening comprehension itself.
Okay, thank you so much, Novan, for the explanation of Duolingo. Now to continue about the advantages and the evaluation, going to explain by Yusuf. So Yusuf, time and screen are yours.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. Now we move on to the advantages of Duolingo. Next slide. We are starting with customization. Duolingo offers some flexibility to alter content and settings to meet student needs. Users can customize their learning experience by selecting which skills to practice, setting daily goals, and choosing from a variety of languages. The app also allows for some personalization of content, such as opting for harder or easier speaking and listening exercises. However, the lessons are fixed, and users can create or import custom content. Therefore, while Duolingo does provide options to tailor the learning process, it does not offer complete flexibility. Next, for the feedback, Duolingo provides an immediate feedback to students on on whether the answer is correct or incorrect. This feedback helps students improve their skills from their mistakes. However, the feedback is relatively limited as it only tells the right answer and not much else. Next, as for the thinking skills, Duolingo facilitates the use of mostly lower order thinking skills like understanding and remembering in its English listening exercises. The app's listening tasks focus on recognizing and recalling words, phrases, and sentences through repetitive practice and audio recognition. Next, as for the usability, Duolingo is designed with a user-friendly interface that allows students to launch and operate the app independently. The app's smooth performance and stability further contribute to its usability, ensuring that students can focus on improving their English listening skills without difficulties. Next, as for the engagement, Duolingo's approach to learning English listening is designed to be highly engaging, with a focus on motivating students to keep using the app with features like gamification and leaderboard scores in which you can compete with your friends, further enhance students' motivation and engagement. Next, as for the sharing, Duolingo provides a performance summary that is saved within the app, offering users insight into their learning process. While it doesn't have a built-in feature for exporting this data directly, users can share their achievements through screenshot or by sharing progress updates via connected social media platform in which allows for some level of sharing with teachers and others, although it may not be as straightforward. Next. Just to recap everything, the advantages of Duolingo is Duolingo provides immediate feedback to students on whether the answer is correct or incorrect. These feedbacks help students improve their listening skills from their mistakes. Duolingo is accessible on various devices and allows students to practice anytime and anywhere. This app has many fun courses which can motivate students to learn English. This platform offers listening courses in various accents which lead students to think critically. This app provides a course based on the student's English level. Next, as for the disadvantages, Duolingo has limited access on who only have free account. The course in the platform may not be structured and connected with other questions. Next, as for the overall evaluation of Duolingo app, the relevance is 4 points, customization 3 points, feedback 2 points, thinking skills 2 points, usability 4 points, engagement 4 points, and lastly sharing 3 points with overall score of 22 out of 28.
Okay, thank you so much, Yusuf, for explaining, and also Novan explaining the Duolingo. Now we come to the last application we're going to discuss for today, which is podcast from British Council. They're going to explain by me first, and then going to continue by Assyifa. Now, next slide, please. Okay, so for we're going to evaluating The definition or description for Learn English podcast is the application that works well for the critical listening skills itself. The application provides students or users to access the engaging podcast about everyday life that students can choose about the topic based on their interests, including sport, natural world, technology, health, education, and lifestyle. This application going to uh, enhancing the students' listening comprehension, also about the communicative ability and also the vocabulary skills of the students itself, because they also provide transcript of the audio itself. Next, please. So for the evaluation overall, the purpose of the app is improving learners' critical listening skill and habituating them with English audio. We have relevance 4 points, customization 3 points, feedback 2 points, thinking skills 3 points, usability 4 points, engagement 3 points, sharing 3 points, and the overall score is 2022 per 28. It means that this application is good enough to use for enhancing listening skills. Next slide, please. Okay, so the first criteria is about the relevance. The app's focus has a strong connection to the purpose for the app and appropriate for the students. All of the contents in podcast app are daily podcasts that will help students with their listening skills. Students will be more focused since all the contents are facilitating listening and will not distracting them when use the app. While or after listening to the podcast to the audio, the students also can answer several questions related to the podcast topic itself. This section can expose students with the critical listening skills. Next slide, please. For the second criteria, we have customization. App offers some flexibility to alter content and setting to meet students' needs. There are several things that you can customize in this app. The first one is the download. So each podcast contains several parts that can be downloaded one by one. So students can choose how many parts they want to listen. And also the downloaded part and its quiz progress can be deleted if they want to free up their memory space, for example. And also about the podcast, we have speed control. So when listen to the podcast audio, students can set the speed based on what they did when they are listening to the podcast, whether it can be slower or faster or in normal speed. However, the app only provides limited content and students cannot search for other podcasts beside what the app already provides from the very first place itself. So then they cannot explore much of the context itself. Next slide, please. So the rest of the criteria is going to be explained by Assyifa. So time and screen are yours.
Okay, thank you. So let me continue the explanation. There are feedback. The app only provides feedback with scores and true or false answers in quizzes. There are no deeper explanation about the answers. Moreover, student can check the answer first and reset it if it is wrong. Hence, the score will not completely valid. And then the thinking skill. The quizzes provided will train students to evaluate, analyze, and apply what they have here in the podcast. Next slide, please. And then the usability. The app's appearance and features are easy to understand and simple to use. And the engagement, its appearance seems too old-fashioned for Gen Z students, so it is not interesting for them. A teacher might need to direct and remind students to use the app. Next slide, please. And then sharing. The quiz results are saved in app and can be seen all the time, but it doesn't provide sharing the result to teacher. Teacher cannot supervise student score directly except student do a screenshot. Next slide. So there are advantages and disadvantages. The advantage is this app provides some listening activities that students can choose which audio they want to listen. And then this app is flexible, which means that students can play the podcast everywhere and every time. And then students can use this app as a learning tool to enhance their listening skill. And the app is easy to operate. And then the app facilities help students enhance their thinking skill. Next slide, please. And the last part is disadvantage. The app only gives scores for the feedback to students. The audio on the app needs to be downloaded, so it will take the student's memory. And then the design is too old for young students, especially for Gen Z. Next slide. Okay, I think that is all from me. I give it back to moderator.
Okay, thank you, Assyifa, for the explanation. Now we reach the end of our discussion and presentation from Group 1. That is all. We already discussed 3 applications that can use to teach English, especially for the listening skills, which is Cake, Duolingo, and Podcast by British Council. That is all from Group 1. I hope it is beneficial for all of us here. Now we can close the presentation now. So wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.